ice cold.
We don't put things in the refrigerator at our house.
Yeah, because my sushi is still on your floor.
Oh, well, that's your fault.
Oh, that's your fault.
Not like it was cooked anyway.
That makes it worse to leave it.
Man, that sounds like my room's problem, actually.
Sounds like it's like Kevin's survival's problem.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Press X Podcast, episode 78, your weekly podcast for gaming news and opinions come at you each and every Monday at noon Eastern. I am Kevin McManus, and I'm still sick, in case you couldn't tell.
No,
With me, Kellen Williard.
Hey.
Nick Hassell.
Yeah, you sound weird.
I'm sorry.
Don't get me sick.
I'll try not to. Don't get me sick with your sushi on my floor.
Yeah, that's kind of gross. I didn't realize that.
I'd call it even then.
So this episode very much going to be a casual episode. We have just a couple news pieces, and then we're just going to be talking about games that have come out this year, our favorite ones that we think are contenders for the best of for the end of the year.
Halfway point.
Yeah. No real game releases anyway, so that kind of worked out nice.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not doing the questions or anything like that. But I do want to do what we've been playing. And I want to make a correction from last week, little one about Pokemon Go. I said that when the raids happen, they reset the gym. They don't. I made that up because that's a good idea. They don't actually do that. So you just keep the gym.
I made that up.
But anyway.
At least you're thinking.
So let's talk about what we've been playing. Kellen, I want to hear from you.
Friday the 13th, because that game's more fun than it should be.
Yes.
And I downloaded and beat Wolfenstein New Order.
How was that?
That game's very good. I see why it got so much hype. One of the better stories I've played in a shooter of any at all.
Yeah, that's the common.
It's got a very good story. It's really well written. Has a really good prologue. Like it's really well made. Game's a lot of fun. A little scary at times. Well, not scary, but like they try to jump scare you.
Spoopy.
A little spooky.
Yeah, they try to jump scare you with stuff. Like it's a lot of fun.
You're gonna make Nick not play it. You don't like the spooky.
It'd probably be
scares.
good for him. He'd be all right. It's not like dark and scary. It's just every now and then things come at you. It's really good. It's really bloody. That game's glory.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes pretty funny.
You
like
played
some
New
random
Blood,
stuff.
so you still got or New Order.
New Order.
So Old Blood's the prequel.
Old Blood's the prequel that came out a
Okay.
year later.
Okay.
Which it's supposed to be same mechanics but worse story. But it's a prequel. It leads up to New Order. Which
It's pretty long too. I think it's a little bit shorter, but
Yeah, New Order was. I think I beat it in 11, 12 hours,
yeah,
which is about
I think
normal.
it's like 6 or something.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll probably do that in 2 days or so.
Yeah.
That game's a lot of fun. That's most of my week though.
Sounds a lot like Doom then.
Yeah.
10-hour game, bloody.
It reminded me of Doom
Spooky
because
stuff.
there are some people, if you hit them with the right weapons, they literally blow apart. And
Oh
just-
yeah.
There's just like I opened a hatch and like a chunk of a heart fell through. I'm like, what the hell?
How about you, Nick?
Started with Nier Automata. I played about 10 hours of it. I think the controls are really sweet. I'm playing it on PS4 because PC version's broken, which is probably the reason he's not playing it.
Correct.
Or hasn't played it yet.
It's on sale and I still haven't bought it because it doesn't work on Steam.
Only thing I can
So excited
really
for that game.
not get into with the game is the map. It's really because you're going up and like on ceilings and stuff so much. The map is more like a 3D kind of like it's really like topographical and it's just weird because most mini maps you want to pause, check it, and then get back into the game. But this one you have to like move it around and adjust like the height. It's weird. You'd spend a lot of time in the main menu if you're looking for like the direction to go or where you're supposed to be at. Other than just using the mini
Can't you
map.
like sell the map as
Yeah.
part of the game?
Yeah, you can
mechanic?
like turn off stuff. And
Literally just about anything on the HUD you can just sell it, or like basically it's enhancements. So like you have, if you think about it like in a backpack sort of thing like most games have, you have 8 slots and 3 or 4 of them at the start are health bar, experience bar, mini map, stuff like that. Like you can take those slots out and put something else in its place to take it. Just to do other stuff, so you can like customize it and you can make it like a HUD-less mode, I guess.
Yeah,
Make it
I know
more-
it makes you stronger if you get rid of your HUD and everything.
Something like that,
which
yeah.
is cool.
Also,
I think you can get rid of your operating system too.
yeah,
that one will kill you.
and it gives you an
it just
alternate
ends
ending.
the game. Yeah.
I've
seen that.
It's awesome.
It's hilarious.
I didn't like look at the game very much. I didn't watch anyone stream it or anything, so I didn't really know anything about it going in. I didn't play the other game.
It's very
But
different.
it's from what I understand. It's got like amazing like ambience. I didn't really expect that. I thought it was just like 24/7 action. I was thinking Bayonetta, I guess. That's what I was going into the game thinking it would be, but it's actually got like moods and stuff to it, I guess is the best way to describe it. The soundtrack's really good too. I didn't expect a good.
It sounds like you're just describing Bayonetta, to be honest.
Yeah, 'cause she has moves.
And the banter was the last thing I didn't expect between 2B, the main character, and some of the supporting cast.
Oh, I thought you said Bantha.
No, but I do like banthas. No, banter. The dialogue between her and the first guy that you get, at least 9S. He's really cool. I didn't expect him to have like personalities and stuff. So
Because they're robots.
yeah.
Hmm.
Next game I played Tuesday, Diablo 3 released the Necromancer patch. So got back into that. Played about 10 hours of that as well. Love the new Necromancer because it feels a lot like the D2 Necromancer, which consumed probably like a quarter of my life. Class is real fun. It's the typical sit back and just have an army of your guys fighting while you're just blowing stuff up. So it's pretty awesome. All your spells are like using like blood and stuff like that. So real interesting. Love magical based classes, but it's awesome to just have like 10 skeletons and like a golem and a bunch of wraiths showing up, and you just like go get them. And you don't have to do much compared to the other classes who are jumping in and punching stuff or using their wands or whatever the other classes do. So it's really fun. Makes me feel like I'm playing Diablo 2 again, so it's great. And they changed up a bunch of systems in the game to make it basically like the alternate modes that you can play instead of just playing through the story to unlock the cool gear. They made it even easier and more open to people rather than grindy, I guess. So you can just kind of hop in, hop out. So that helps with a game like that for sure. Downloaded Spider-Man Homecoming VR, realized
Jesus.
that it has move controls only.
Oh, yeah.
So I did not play it.
I forgot about that. Yeah, it's really bad. I'll just talk about it really quick. It's like 5 minutes long. And all you do is shoot some bottles with your pull the trigger, shoot the bottles, and then you swing to the top of a building and you look down and you're like, oh, this is cool. And what's his name? Vulture shows up and like knocks down the crane, and you catch it and you pull it back and like kind of rebuild it with your webs. And then it goes, Spider-Man Homecoming in theaters next week. And I'm like, wow, I thought the game was about to start. Like, I'm going to go after Vulture. And nope, it just ended.
That's it.
It was literally 5 minutes. And I was like.
So it wasn't a demo, it's the full thing?
Oh, no, it's just it's a promotion made by Sony, because Sony has Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It's just a promotional thing for the game, or for the movie. And I was like, this is
sounds like it didn't miss
trash.
much.
No, I deleted it already. And I don't delete many VR games like that. Like I really like the Danganronpa one. I actually think it shows you something new, and it feels like, this was just very much, hey, there's a movie coming out. Download our
Look what
thing.
we're making next week.
Yeah.
Putting out next week.
Sounds like a decent YouTube video to watch, I guess.
Probably not.
We'll get the gist of it from Kevin. So
Crash Bandicoot
Ooh.
showed up yesterday.
Tell me about that Bandicoot.
Today.
lucky.
First off, Amazon not shipping our copies. Not cool, Amazon.
Mine will be here Wednesday.
Yeah, you said that, and I just looked at mine, and I was like, cancel, because it's clearly not coming today like it says.
Like I pre-ordered that a couple weeks ago. It'll be here Wednesday. I bought stuff Friday morning, and it was there Friday night. I'm like, come on, be consistent.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I was late to the party, and they didn't have physical copies by the time I was ready to order it.
Apparently I didn't when I ordered mine either.
So I went to Best Buy and got them to ship it to me. Showed up, played Crash 1, I think. I don't remember the number of levels, but I'm like halfway through. God, it got fucking hard. I forgot.
Yeah, Crash 1 is... so, just since we're kind of tag teaming this one, I beat Crash 2.
Yeah.
And I thought I was going to beat 1, 2, and 3, like the day it came out. And I was busy that day. I probably could have beat 2 and 3. But I beat 2 at like almost midnight. I was like, Jesus Christ. And I played through a little bit of 1 that time. And then I woke up the next day and played 1. 2 is fine. There's a couple things I don't like the jetpack controls are bad, and they didn't change them, and I wish they kind of messed with that a little bit. But 1's level design, since it keeps all that, is so vertical, and that is not what... it's more of a side-scroller than a 3D game, Crash 1 is. And they really fixed all that in 2, but... 1 is just fun to kind of see where it started, but man, it is rough to go back to. It's very challenging.
Yeah, I don't like the 3D when I'm jumping. Basically, the jumping on top of the boxes. That's what just kills it for me. Because, I mean, there's some parts where you have to jump up, hit the bridge, go up again, hit the bridge. So
yeah,
just like
and then you fall and you go,
5-tiered.
and and then you just got to do it all again.
Well, and because you're falling in 3D, so like you missed the box by a little bit this way, and you're just like, well, I hit the ground.
Yeah, Crash 1's rough. Crash 2
very
way
difficult.
harder than I remember as well.
Yeah.
But I was able to get through it pretty,
But
solidly,
anyways, playing as Coco,
yeah,
more than makes up for it. So
yeah, she's great.
pretty sweet.
Her
And
death animations in 2 are hilarious.
It's cool because you feel like nostalgic. Because you're like, oh, yeah, I haven't played this in like 20 years or something like that. But it looks new, so it's kind of like messing with your brain the whole time.
Yeah, they finally did the thing like when you look back at an old game and you're like, man, that game was great. And then you load it up and you're like, oh, this game looks like trash.
Oh, yeah.
It's not good. It looks like how I remember it looking, which is really cool. It's my favorite remaster.
Yeah, I
was
going to say this needs to be the new standard for
$40, all 3 of them remastered, new content.
Yeah,
like it is just a perfect remaster.
We'll just put Coco in all remasters.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Okay.
But yeah, I really want to platinum Crash too.
Good luck.
I'm not even concerned with that.
I went through my first playthrough. I beat it and got all the crystals. Obviously, I didn't look anything up except for how to play as Coco after I beat it because I didn't realize you had to do something to do it. I unlocked 3 of the 5 extra levels that you can find.
Yeah.
So I found those on my own. And I got over half of the gems that you get for breaking all the boxes. So now I just need to do the speedrun stuff. But the speedrun stuff sucks because it's not just beat the speedrun things. It's gold medal, all of them. So that's real hard. You have to beat almost every level in 55 seconds or less.
Yeah, that ain't me.
It's a lot.
That's not happening.
So just
It's already frustrating enough to just complete some levels sometimes because I'm just like, I don't know. I've been playing much faster paced games, so I'm impatient and stuff like that. So I don't want to wait for the spike thing to come down.
That's part of my problem. 1 has a lot of that.
Yeah.
2 has some waiting, but it's like towards the end of the game. The first half of that game is like perfect. Then you get towards the end and they're just like, let's just add more things that kill you in one hit.
Yeah.
Like, God damn it.
But aside from that,
I haven't played Warped yet.
I'm
I'm waiting on Warped because I know once I play Warped, which has like everything, double jumping and the infinite spin and all that stuff, Crash 1's going to be impossible to go back to.
Yeah.
Like it's going to bother me because you can't even slide in Crash 1. Like
Correct.
It feels so old. So I want to beat Crash 1 before I go to Warped. But okay.
Fair.
Crash is awesome.
Got my Switch
So happy.
this week. Haven't really got too much time to play it because the other 3 or 4 things I mentioned, but I did go ahead and try out Mario Kart 8. So nice to play on handheld.
Oh.
Whether whatever you rank it, but it's just nice to have like a 720p full on Mario Kart rather than just like, here's the Game Boy Advance.
I was going to say,
copy.
Kellen likes playing on the Wii U pad. So.
The Wii U pad's
Yeah.
awesome.
It's really nice, and it took me a while to like set up my account and link it to Nintendo and all that stuff. So that's reason number 2 why I didn't get into it much. And I think we're gonna do ARMS and stuff.
Yeah.
After this, so
Got 2 ready.
we'll fight
Done.
each other. But yeah, most of my games are party games, so I'm not gonna sit there at home and play by myself. Like
Man,
AI
ARMS is
Bomberman.
great.
Anything.
I'm down for playing Bomberman because I think 2 days ago they added Pyramid Head, so I'm excited about that.
And also I got Disgaea 5, but that's like a 200+ hour game, so I wasn't about to jump back into that quite yet. I will before long, though. Probably before Splatoon 2 hits. But yeah, I like it so far, I guess. System's nice. It's basically my 3DS XXXL. Just a really big DS. But yeah, that's what I'm going to treat it as. I don't think I've even docked it yet. So
we'll check it out.
We will.
Is that it for what you've played?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to tackle on Friday the 13th. Been playing that basically every night. Real problems with that game with glitching right now, and it's so frustrating.
I haven't been on it in a couple days, so.
Oh my gosh! So people figured out how to get
Purposeful?
onto. Oh yeah.
Okay.
You can glitch through walls in the big houses on every map, and get on the roof, and then Jason can't get you. And people just the start of the match is just a race to get to the house and glitch onto the roof, and it's so frustrating. So me and my niece play every night, and our thing is we just spawn and we run and get the gun, and then we go to that room and hide in the closet and wait for someone to come in and back up to the wall, and we pop out and shoot them. Like, we've betrayed so many glitchers. It's so frustrating. And people have figured out how to find, there's a room like behind a wall that's not meant to go into. People figured out how to glitch into there, and then Jason literally cannot do anything. He can at least sort of throw knives at you if you're on the roof, but it's really hard.
That doesn't make sense. Like, it's not really a competitive game.
No,
so I
it's
don't
so
know.
frustrating. And like we spam messages at the people glitching. Everybody's like, "This sucks." And then the next game you go into, you just betray them.
Yeah.
So what people do is they go into a game, they do the glitch and win, and then they leave the lobby.
Yeah.
And then they go into another game. I'm like, this is so annoying.
What's the point of that? Yeah.
On PC, they've already patched it. The patch is coming to PS4 really soon. Xbox is later because they're always late with their patches.
Well, yeah, consoles have to do
the
much more in-depth
certification.
process to go through.
But it adds a grief system, so you can report players.
Sure.
And
I wanted one of those the other day. So
they openly said they've already banned 300 accounts on the PC one. They're bringing it over. If you help Jason, you can get banned. If you do any of the glitches, you can get banned. I'm like, okay, this is pretty sweet. The only one that I'm iffy on, and they haven't specifically said it, is betraying people, because I think if betraying people was a problem, they'd just shut off friendly fire.
Yeah.
It's not that big.
yeah,
You know
it's
what I
not that
mean?
big a deal.
So I don't think they'll ban you for betraying people, because I like the betraying thing. I think it's funny when you get to a boat and there's 3 people and 1 gun, and only 2 can get on the boat, and it's like, we're gonna have tryouts.
Somebody's got to figure something out.
It sounded like sort of a justice system while they were still
Sometimes
patching
it is,
it.
yeah.
So
Yeah, no, people were. It was the worst when like a huge group of people would do it. Like right at the beginning, there'd be like 4 people up there, and it's like, guys. Some of them just go up there and wait for the police to get called. Anyway, they're fixing it. It's really frustrating though, because it hurts the whole game. Like a couple people stop playing every time somebody's doing that and ruining the game.
it's pretty well balanced too. So it's not like
Well, it's like balanced.
you really need that competitive.
Yeah,
edge.
it's balanced in the way Jason has the advantage for sure, but that's how it's supposed to be. And you can still win as a counselor. Like you don't feel totally screwed every time.
You never
you're a
feel
counselor.
helpless. Well, except unless you run out of items or something.
Yeah, but that's always
That's
fun.
part of it. Yeah.
So anyway, they're fixing it. Game's still a blast though.
It's
And
more,
then,
more fun than it should be.
My other one is the Lawbreakers beta. Tried to play it on PC. Wouldn't put me in a match. Got it for PS4. Finally played it. It is Unreal, and I love it. And then it's Overwatch, and I hate it. And they're just smushed together. And I like everything Unreal about it. And most of the Overwatch stuff I don't like. I don't like the random game modes. I don't like the game modes. It's like weird variants on games that have existed forever, and they feel like they're different just to be different.
I didn't really see like a lot of Overwatch. I saw like concepts, but not like, I don't know. Overwatch got so much personality in it, and
I mean,
so colorful, and like the voices and everyone's dialogue is real. Like,
Does that dialogue?
I don't know. It was just
It
like
was real
lacking
bad.
all that. And you can't. Your biggest complaint, at least when I was down there, was you can't tell the characters apart from each other.
Yeah, I think it's weird. Like once you know them, because they all have a unique weapon, you can figure it out. But it is strange in Overwatch. You can easily distinguish the characters, no matter how
like,
far away
you
they are.
see,
In this one, you're like,
you see
dude
bright
in
orange,
armor. I don't know
One
who
of the
that guy
armored
is.
guys.
Yeah, because in a hero game, like you have to play against people wildly differently. Like if you see in Overwatch a really big fat biker guy, you know like, he's probably gonna hook you, so you need to jump away or something like that. So
yeah, it's the same, but it is very difficult to distinguish those things. But I just wish it went to the arena shooter routes. I wish it had a third person option, because you're jumping all over. There's a lot of flying in the game. Every character,
not much use of the ground in there.
Yeah, every character has some sort of mobile, either a jetpack or like swing, or
just jumps 3 times.
Can jump 3 times, or can
Titanfall
slide and jump a little bit. Yeah,
without the Titans. Yeah.
Each character's got a totally different movement scheme though, and I just wish that it was more of a grounded interior.
was that all the
like
characters,
the
or does it just show you?
I think that's just the beta characters. I know there is significantly less characters than most games at launch for this game. But they're not charging full price or anything. They know that it's half a game. They're charging half the price of a game. Like, I'm totally fine with that, and I'm probably gonna get it when it comes out. But I'm hoping, I'm going to keep my eye on it. I'm really hoping that they just have like, hey, you want to just like shoot people in the arena? You can just pick your character and shoot people in the arena.
It seemed more like a PC game to me too. At least the way it just feels like a Unreal game or whatever you want to think of it as.
I mean, I like the console Unreal's better.
Yeah, it looked like Unreal. That's about it, really.
It plays like Unreal.
Yeah.
Like, except for the
With
weird
the hero.
Overwatch stuff.
Yeah.
The hero, you have 2 abilities for each character, an ultimate and then a passive. They all have a different weapon. Some of them have 2 weapons for some reason. Some of them don't.
Yeah.
Typically, if you don't have a ranged weapon, like if you have like a shotgun, you'll have like a pistol as a backup and stuff like that. But yeah, it's fine. To get in the beta, you just go on their website / like over
Ask
whatever
nicely.
Overwatch Lawbreakers/beta, and you can sign up. But yeah, they very much know. I watched an interview with them. They very much know. They're like, the elephant in the room's Overwatch. They're like, this is, it's M-rated. We're going for a more adult community and crowd for this game, and we'll see how that goes. Because Call of Duty also M-rated and has a very adult community and crowd.
Yeah.
So,
really?
we'll see.
Yeah,
But
just log on during Christmas time.
I will say,
Oh
it
my
feels
God.
very polished, like the gameplay and everything.
Mhm.
Way more, like I'm actually surprised because this is a pretty small team working on this. I mean, it's led by Cliffy, who's done big games,
Mhm.
but this is a fairly small team for him. So I was impressed with the amount of polish, and even just things like opening the loot crates and stuff like that. It's all the stuff that Battleborn missed, which was that menu polish and everything. Battleborn very static.
Well, as we've seen with recent games, if your game's not polished, it's going to get destroyed quickly.
Yeah.
In social media
Speaking of Battleborn, yeah.
and whatnot.
Very true. But yeah, it's over. If you like Unreal or Overwatch, I also think
Or
that
a
this.
combination of the
Yeah,
two.
I also think that this game is going to do just fine, like community-wise and everything. I think this is going to have its community and it's going to do great.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
I don't think it will be like Battleborn in that way where
It's dead in 2 weeks.
Yeah, it got crapped on because it wasn't even similar, but it looked similar. And
You could use similar words to describe it, and that was about it.
Yeah, so it got kind of crapped on and destroyed. I don't think that'll happen to this game. I think it's going to
Unless Overwatch releases something for their game.
We put
at
out one
launch.
new
They'll
skin for
probably
one
put out
character.
they'll probably put out a character or something there, I imagine.
Or they'll do like a free weekend or something.
Yeah.
They'll do the one that the internet really loves, Terry Cruz's rumored character for the game. They'll do that because that'll be a big social media buzz thing, and then
Yeah.
everyone will go,
I
"What's
wouldn't be shocked if
That
they
would
do
get me to play
something like
Overwatch again, though.
that." Oh yeah.
All right, let's move into the news. Not too much news, but one very big story popped up. The Super NES Classic, or whatever they called it. They had a really weird name. I'm calling it the Super NES
Yeah.
Classic.
That's what it is. That's what
Was
it's gonna
revealed
call.
Why go changing it now?
and very promising. Way better than I thought it would be.
Mm-hmm.
I was super surprised. Does something real cool. We'll get to it. So it's coming out September 29th. It'll be in production until the end of the year. So that's probably not great.
So
but
that's a thing.
but
Maybe 2 waves of it.
and there's no details on pre-orders or anything like that, and they're not talking about it, and they won't release information. So there might not be pre-orders for this.
They will talk
'Cause they've
about
done that
it
before.
in a direct or something similar the week before
Maybe.
or the week of.
Because there was some amiibo or something that they did that you weren't allowed to pre-order. You had to show up to get it. I was like, this is
Yeah, I
dumb.
remember that.
I forget what it was.
It made you real mad.
Anyway.
They'll probably. When's the 29th day of the week? Does it
After-
say?
Oh, I don't know.
It might be a Saturday or Sunday or something like that.
Yeah, maybe.
Probably like a Wednesday.
It's going to cost $80, so it's $20 more than the NES one, but it comes with 2 controllers, and the controller cords are longer, so that's cool.
Well, thank God.
It's a Friday. Yikes.
And then it has 21 games, I believe. And they are we pretty much got all of the games when we made our list of games. There's a few less, obviously, because there's less games on here, but it's still, for the value, it's insane. Contra 3, Donkey Kong Country, Earthbound, Final Fantasy 3, F-Zero, Kirby Superstar, Kirby Dream Course, Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, Mega Man X, Secret of Mana, Star Fox, Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Super Castlevania 4, Super Ghosts and Goblins, Super Mario Kart, Super Mario RPG, Super Mario World, Super Metroid, Super Punch-Out, Yoshi's Island, and the never-released Star Fox 2, a game that they finished and never actually put out because it was kind of expensive to make. And they were like, we have an N64. Why don't we just
Let's just
do that? So that's sweet.
It's worth it alone for Earthbound and Star Fox.
Yeah.
Just because of how rare
And it
or
comes with 2
expensive-
controllers,
I wanna
which
play
is cool
Earthbound.
because almost all of these are multiplayer games that you can, like Donkey Kong Country is a cool multiplayer game. Even Secret of Mana's a 2-player
Yes,
RPG
it
game
is.
that's really fun. I played that recently. So, I don't know. I mean, as somebody who never grew up with the Super Nintendo and always wanted to experience the catalog of it with the actual controller and everything, because I'm about that. But like, I own 3 Super Nintendo carts, and it's $110 worth of things for 3 carts, and one of them's Mario, one of them's Mega Man, and one of them's Donkey Kong. Like, this is Earthbound's $200.
Yeah,
like,
I'd
this
like
is
to play
awesome.
Earthbound. That's the best way to do it.
So I'm totally going to attempt to get one. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, good luck.
I grew up with one, so I'm not as hot about getting it. But
If it had Chrono Trigger, I'd go get one. But
Yeah, that's the one game that people are like, man, I wish I had Chrono Trigger.
If I had Chrono Trigger, we'd be holding up a Best Buy to get one.
Damn, you heard it here first. Next up, Gareth, very passionate about this one, so let's bring it up. Marvel, their rights for games and movies and such are kind of all over the place. They have a Marvel Heroes. It's apparently like a dungeon crawler. I haven't actually played the game. I don't know too much about it. But I had it described to me as a Diablo clone.
Yeah, I was going to say Diablo Light, but it's not even so much that. It's sort of like what were those Xbox games that they made? Play a character
Oh,
level.
the Ultimate Alliance?
Yeah, Ultimate Alliance games. It's sort of like that,
Gotcha.
except just broader.
Anyway, so you buy like heroes for this game, and they had an anniversary, and they announced that there will be no more Fantastic Four characters. So Silver Surfer, all that stuff is going to be removed at the end of the month. So if you want them, go buy them, and they're going to be altering some of the items. I guess they have maybe logos or things like that to them. This sparked some debate over things like Marvel vs. Capcom getting the X-Men in them, and people are worried about their Marvel characters actually being able to show up in different properties. So if you play that game and you have any interest in the characters, you should probably get them.
Get them now.
Assuming they're still there by the time this goes up.
Pretty fun game. I've played it about an hour.
What an endorsement.
What? Good job.
PlayStation Plus and Xbox Games with Gold actually launched the same week.
Launched or announced?
Yeah, they're announced, and here we go. So Xbox has Runbow, which I did not know was coming to Xbox One. I think this is a launch release. I'm not entirely sure. Runbow is a Super Smash Brothers style game, except it's more platform-based instead of fighting-based. You're kind of racing to the end of the level. The backgrounds are different colors and the platforms are different colors, and the background will constantly change color. So if the background's blue and you're jumping to a blue platform, that platform's not there, and you'll just fall straight through it. And it was fun because it was a big Wii U game because you had the tablet and you could have somebody play changing the colors constantly and throwing like paint bombs and things to mess with people. But I haven't actually played this game. I've been wanting it forever. So this is a cool one to get.
Here it is.
It's also got a bunch of indie, like Shantae's in it, Shovel Knight's in it, the Stealth Bastard from Stealth Inc.'s in it. Like all the indie characters, or the indie platformer characters are in it. So real cool. Grow Up's there. Pirates of the Caribbean, Lego, and Kane and Lynch 2. So that's what you're getting for the Xbox.
Kane and Lynch were pretty good games. I like those.
I played the first one. Did we play the second one?
I don't know if we did. That was sort of like the same period of time they were doing like the Army of Two, like the grab a buddy and do a co-op sort of game, which haven't really been around for a while.
Yeah.
PlayStation Plus, we have Until Dawn.
Ding.
Winner, chicken dinner.
Already got it.
Definitely worth free.
Game of Thrones, the Telltale game.
Not bad.
Tokyo Jungle for the PlayStation 3. Lots of people want that remastered on PS4. People love that game. Darkstalkers Resurrection for PS3. Elemental with a 4 in it for the Vita. I don't know what that is. And Don't Die, Mr. Robot for the Vita, and also cross-buy on the PS4. So that's a solid PlayStation month. You get Until Dawn.
Yeah.
Go play that.
I like Until Dawn.
And also, like, the Game of Thrones thing's cool, too, because it's actually canon to the story. I heard it's pretty inconsequential because of that. Like, they couldn't do crazy stuff. But if you're a fan of Game of Thrones, definitely check it out.
It's my favorite Telltale game.
Ooh,
but I haven't played Wolf Among Us.
Wow.
Oh. Well, your opinion's invalid on that.
Shining endorsement again.
I love Wolf Among Us.
No, it's good. And the fact that they actually got the people to voice the characters and stuff like that helps. Yeah. Always.
Yeah,
but yeah, helps. They did it between like seasons 4 and 5 and 6.
I think it's definitely 5 something.
They're definitely kind of hampered with what they can really do. So.
But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna download it and
yeah, it's fun.
Just
and not know what's going on.
I never said I was gonna play it. I just said I'm gonna download it and have it sit there.
It's there.
Just put it in your library.
Just in case, maybe one day. I like Game of Thrones, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to check this out because I already own it. That's happened multiple times where it happened to you, I believe. I was like, oh, Helldivers, this game's sweet. And then, like, you went home and it was like, oh, I have it. It was free on Plus, and I downloaded it.
The one time I remembered to download the game of the month?
Yeah, so just always download them.
Nah.
I tried to.
So that's it for news and everything. So we're just going to go through some games and talk about them and why we liked them. If you haven't played these games so far this year, these are our recommendations basically for
Sure.
games that we've played, and they're things that may show up later in the year for our Game of the Year discussion. So
It's a possibility.
let's just go down the list. Let's start with Gravity Rush 2.
All you, buddy. Don't look
So
at us.
Gravity Rush 2
Yeah.
is a sequel to Gravity Rush, and it does everything basically bigger and better. I shouldn't say better. It does everything bigger.
It can't be worse. So.
The world is bigger. You have way more moves. There's more characters. There's more of everything, for better or for worse.
It does bad better.
I think
It found a way.
I think it's just as good as the original Gravity Rush. It ties up a bunch of the questions that you have from the original Gravity Rush, and
Like, why should I play this game?
God, you guys are the worst. And it is fantastical. And it was supposed to come out early or end of last year, and they moved it to early this year. So
It
one
is
of
ve-
those.
It is very pretty. I'll give it that. I like their art
It's
style.
extremely pretty.
I like their art style a lot. I like their living comic book stuff.
Yeah,
too.
the comic book cutscenes are sweet.
It's
a lot
very
of the
neat.
games on this list are going to be spilled over from 2016, so
That's fair.
this is just the first of them.
Next up, Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue. So this is a remake of 2 games, but it also included a new game that is the system of Kingdom Hearts 3. It's basically the episode Duske or Ground Zeroes for Kingdom Hearts 3. It is a couple hour long chapter of that game where you get to see how the mechanics are going to work. They're a hybrid of Kingdom Hearts 2 and Birth by Sleep, which is the best 2 Kingdom Hearts. Basically put together with one of the best characters that they have in the whole series leading the game. Very cool, very emotional. The twist that they have in it is pretty cool. Literally sets up the moment the third game starts. So that's exciting in 2019 when we get to see the trailer for that game. And yeah, so highly recommended if you've played all the other Kingdom Hearts. Otherwise, you're going to have no idea what the heck's going on. Do not just buy that game.
He told me not
Deal.
to buy it, so I never have to play him.
Well, you got to play the other.
No, he said.
Well,
don't
there's 8 other ones that you need to play first.
Well, we're waiting on 3. There's 8 of them out, and I'm needing
Figure out their
number 3.
numbering system then, if that's number 2.
You have trouble.
Next up, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard.
Probably my favorite
Someone else talk, please.
Game.
My voice is going.
Probably
I
my
hadn't
favorite
played any
game
of
that
these.
I've seen someone else play. Like watching a stream, basically.
Yeah, I watched a couple hours of this game stream, and it's hilarious. Not the game, but the people streaming it.
Just because they're getting scared.
Because he was a big chicken about it. And he wasn't even in VR. He was
Man,
just scared.
the game is scary. I mean, not in VR. I can't really speak to that, but I played it through in VR multiple times. I platinumed it, and like the game's, it gets you real good.
Yeah.
And it's the first I don't want to say full game in VR, but it's the first game that's like you want to play in VR, you can play in VR, and then just swap back, and it's like, you're spending 8 hours through this game. And it was awesome. And horror, clearly the best, well, I shouldn't say the best, but one of the best ways to use VR. And I think that it did it perfectly. You don't need to do any sort of weird controls or anything. You can just play a game and be able to look around, and that is enough to enhance the game.
Yeah.
Made some things easier, like shooting. You can aim way easier when you're aiming with your head.
Like that was
When
the
you
number
look-
one reason why I would never play it not VR, because it just makes night and day difference between shooting people in the head, which saves you a ton of bullets or resources, and makes the game a bit easier for you.
Yeah, it's just, and the other thing I want to point out is not only did I think this game was going to get delayed, I thought it was going to be mediocre.
Yeah.
I didn't like all this stuff, and the game it's a good game. It sets up stuff well. They did a good job.
It was a lot better than people thought it would be.
I'm excited for Resident Evil 8, whatever that may be. I'm hoping
Yeah,
that...
I mean, the game even made me go, what if they remade 2 in VR? Just think about that sort of thing. So, and I didn't want, before that at least, I didn't want anyone to touch 2 as far as changing things up.
Yeah, so good job.
Fair. Yeah.
Next up, Tales of Berseria. What's this?
It is a Tales game. But no, basically, the point of this game and why I really wanted to highlight it, talk about it, whatever, it was the first game this year that I really sunk a decent amount of hours into. Like I said, I watched someone play Resident Evil 7. But Tales, the cool thing about it for me was you're playing the bad person. You're playing basically an out for revenge story, which isn't really the typical sort of video game. Sort of branched out with this one. I haven't played any of the Tales games before that. Luckily, a lot of the reviews said this is the best Tales game, so I kind of lucked out there. But yeah, the battle system was cool. It's sort of like Pokemon in the fact that you're running around these areas and just a random battle will pop up. But the thing that's better about that than Pokemon is the battles are quick. You can jump in, jump out just real fast. So it's not just like constant loading screens and animations and sprites and, waiting for stuff to end and see dialogue and all. It's just, hey, there's someone to fight. Kill him. Okay, keep going sort of thing. So the characters are really cool in it too. I really liked pretty much all of them. I've yet to finish the game because, as you'll see, we underlined and want to talk about a lot on here. So,
there's multiple games on here I want to play.
Keeping up with work and
Correct.
somewhat of a life, and then doing all this got jumbled together.
July is very empty, though, in early August.
So a lot of these are going to get finished for me. But yeah, Tales was a cool game. I pretty much liked pretty much everything. I mean, it seems like it's going to be a decently long game. I want to say I've got 25 hours into it, and I can't even tell where I'm at in the story as far as, like, I feel like I'm towards the end. Like, I don't even have that kind of sneaking suspicion, so I'm going to say maybe 50% done. But this is definitely one I'll knock out by the time all the fall games start hitting. So,
how about that Yakuza 0?
The most ridiculous game I've played in a while. It's very, very Japanese. The good thing about it, I don't think too many people have played Yakuza games. So if you want to play one, this is the very first one. 0, it's the prequel to all of them. You don't have to know anything about the other games, but it's fun. It's pretty addictive because, I mean, it's a bunch of street fights and stuff like that, but it's ridiculous in the fact that there's Yakuza, and it's just, it feels almost tropey. And they definitely do not take themselves too seriously. So you just have a bunch of weird fun. I mean, you can go from fighting in the streets
fish
to
in this game. That's about all I know about it.
Yes, you can attack people with various objects. You can go sing karaoke, whatever.
Oh, yeah,
so it's very Japanese, but it's very entertaining, and I will definitely be finishing that this year.
What about Neo?
The most difficult game I've played this year, even having Crash 1 on the list. I liked it. It's very much a Souls game, but it's Japanese based, so instead of big, I guess, like Cthulhu-like monsters and like classical sort of stuff, you have Japanese. So you have spirits and demons and things of that nature that you're fighting. Same sort of system, though, but the big difference between that, other than the setting, is like the speed in which the game is played. I think I talked about it when we were back in those months, saying what we were playing. The speed is tricky. You feel a lot safer in this game because you can move fast, you can roll and dodge, and you can sprint fast. Like, it just feels more fluid. I think it's also in 60 frames, so that helps. But like, you feel faster, but the enemies are faster too. So you don't really have that advantage that you think you do, and you kind of get overconfident sometimes. And this game is more punishing in the fact that it's got more like one-hit kills and guys that just take a ton of damage off your health in something like that, 1-2 hits, and the bosses are a bit tougher. So I think it's more challenging, and it's probably not as long of a game, but you do have customizable options that you don't have in Dark Souls, and you get like a cool new setting. So a lot of give and take there. I'd say it's harder, though. I don't know about Bloodborne's usually the one that people say is the toughest.
Bloodborne and Dark Souls 2, like the remaster, because they made that harder.
Mm-hmm.
That one's also hard to hear. I don't know.
That's what I've
Didn't
heard.
they put Prepare to Die or something as
it's called like Prepare to Die edition or something like that.
That's when you know they're not putting an easy mode in the game. But yeah,
I knew what they were doing.
More difficult, but cooler, I think, just because of the setting, and you just get a whole new look at it where you've had 4 or 5 games that are all kind of the same. Bloodborne kind of stood out, though, just because it's a different setting. But
what about For Honor? I didn't like this one very much.
It was okay.
I'm not a big fan of any of the Ubisoft, like, online only, like, big community thing. They sell, like, this and Ghost Recon were the best-selling games.
I think...
And I don't get that.
Yeah. I think I enjoyed it or played it more than it deserved because I had a dedicated person or a group that was always playing with me. So my team was constantly, I think 3v3 was the max, or 4v4. 4v4 sounds right.
I've
as
seen
far as
4v4 videos.
But you can do 1v1,
thought it
2v2,
was
3v3, whatever. But I always had at least a full team of people that were on my friends list.
Mhm.
So one of my golden rules is co-op makes everything better. So I mean, if you feel like your friend's sitting there playing, then you're not gonna get mad at random guy X. He's
He's glitching on the roof.
yeah.
And I gotta go kill him.
Gumbag.
It's pretty cool. The thing that sucks about it is that you want it to be more of a fighting game, in the fact that you want there to be like rules and like consistency and stuff like that. And a lot of times it just turns into who knocks who off the cliff first, sort of thing, or who spams more. So I think
So it's like a fighting game.
yeah,
Sounds like a fighting game.
not how it should be. I think it should be like tighter, I guess. There should be like an established system where it just kind of feels like the Wild West of fighting games right now. You just kind of
Ironic for a game called For Honor. That fighting system seemed to have leaked into Assassin's Creed Origins too. People saying it's very similar to For Honor, the way that the fighting works. So we shall see.
The For Honor system looked cool to me, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, the system wasn't the problem. For
No,
me.
the system was neat.
And honestly, I ended up liking fighting the computer AI more than real people, which is weird because this game's very much a PvP-based game.
You can't even play it offline.
It had like a single player thing, but
yeah, the single player was interesting at least, but the AI used strategy and different tactics, and they didn't always hit the same thing. If you used the same attack, they would always start blocking it, sort of thing. Whereas online, you just get the person who used one or two moves, and that's all they do.
he just poke you.
Or try to push you off the bridge or something.
That's all I would do is try to push people
Yeah.
off.
How about Berserk and the Band of the Hawk?
My first...
This is just a Nick episode now.
That's fine.
Well, you said someone else talk.
We gave it to Nick.
My first Dynasty Warriors game that I bought. I've played some in the past. I played the Zelda one, but I didn't own any of them. Berserk, pretty popular anime and manga. It was good enough, and I have watched it enough to know that I'm going to know all these characters. These games are really big on you don't just have one person you play as; you have multiple people, and it really works for any anime for the most part because all the branching storylines and stuff like that. So I figured, hey, I like both mechanisms. If they put it together, it'll be a good game, and it is. I've played 10 hours of it so far, I think. It's really a game that you can pick up and put 30 minutes or an hour into and get back to something else. It's just sort of like a chip away at sort of thing. I know the story already, so it's not like I'm kind of waiting on the edge of my seat for the next part because it's going over something that's already written.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a new story or anything like that. But playing as the different characters, real cool. Music and everything feels right for the game, and yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Talk to me about Halo Wars 2.
So, basically, just feels like a giant update for the first game, but it's a whole new story. It has a lot of similar feel to it, which is fine. It's a strategy game; it should feel the same.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to reinvent the wheel with that.
But
one.
it's probably my favorite console strategy game. It's the one that works best for consoles because it was made to be done with a controller.
Sure.
Whereas most of the time they're made for mouse and keyboard. The game plays really well. It's in the Halo universe, so I like all of that stuff because I love the Halo universe. They added a bunch of really neat stuff to this game that the first one didn't have, like the little card-based game style you can play. There's like 3 main points to capture, and you have like a card deck. You can only make units from their card deck as they come up. It's a lot of fun. Just a good strategy game. I need to go back and play a little bit more of it, but probably put a solid 10 or 12 hours into it. Because it gave me a reason to turn my Xbox on. So
well, that's true.
Yeah, that game's a lot of fun. If you like real-time strategy, definitely try it.
How about that Horizon Zero Dawn, though?
Never heard of it.
How about...
No, it was probably my favorite PS4 game until later in the year. Probably my favorite PlayStation game I'd ever played until later in the year. I really liked Horizon. The game's fantastic. The setting's great. I want to know more about that world and that setting.
Well, lucky for you, you're getting an expansion soon.
Thank God for that. because that setting's fantastic. Those characters are all very good.
Still need to play it. I really want. That's very high up on my play. I want to play Nier more, but I'm scared I'm not going to like Horizon, honestly. But we'll see.
You may not.
Yeah.
But Aloy's a great character. She's very cool. She actually has personality. She's not just robotic killer, although there are robotic killers in this game.
Lots of robots.
The robots are a lot of fun. They're a lot more fun to fight than the human characters. But the humans are more fun to just like assassinate and just dominate. That's kind of what she does. Like you feel powerful in that game because as you unlock better stuff and better weapons and her perks and stuff, like you just feel more powerful, especially when you fight mechs that are the size of skyscrapers.
So, how's the story just overall?
I like
Good,
that world.
bad?
I like that world a lot, and that story explains a good chunk of the world. It does a really good job of it.
Okay.
I like that story quite a bit.
Yeah, I know someone who is obsessed with the story. Like
The
they don't
story's
care
very
about
good.
anything else but the story for that game.
The story is very good, but the combat system is fantastic. Like they work really well together. Like there's not like a low point in that game really, as far as I was concerned.
Yeah, it's definitely on my hopefully next month list. We shall see though.
Like that world's gorgeous. I want a PS4 Pro just to see that game in 4K. Just
It's
strictly for
apparently
that
the best
purpose.
looking game.
Yeah.
Like
Strictly for that purpose.
You can borrow mine next
Even-
month because I basically got to the point where the door opens and you can go out into the world. That's kind of the thing with not really sandbox games, but open world games, is that they want to give you a small slice of the game so you can sort of find your way around, maneuver, get from point A to point B, and then they go, but here's the rest of the game. So I'm at that point.
that happens in Final Fantasy 13 after about 40 hours.
Oh, 40 hours.
Won't ever find out.
That's what I'm never doing.
But sat on the game for a little bit because it came out at a very competitive time on this list, and then by the
Psychonauts?
time I kind of got back into the mode of wanting to play it, E3 hit and they said expansion. So I don't know if it's going to be like an epilogue sort of deal. I don't
new
know.
story, new area.
So yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
I don't know if
apparently
they're
it
gonna.
takes place like in a completely different part of wherever they are.
So I don't know if they're
It's
gonna
like it's connected. I think. I think you can go
interweave
through a
it.
mountain pass or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna like interweave it or what. So I'm just gonna play it when the expansion comes out.
Gotcha. That's fair.
I left myself at a really good spot though. I definitely remember the story from where I'm at, and I didn't get too far into it where, if I had just played 2 more hours, then I would know it all. So
That story really picks up steam. It just kind of gets going and going and going and going.
It's on PS4, not Steam.
Huh?
Next up, Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, the best open world game of all time. You can do anything. You can do absolutely anything. It changed the game for everybody. Not a single person that's played this game isn't obsessed with it. The highest reviewed Zelda of all time, one of the best reviewed games of all time. Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. How do you feel about it, Nick?
it's mediocre at best.
I think that's crazy. I think it's very good. The
I didn't.
the
play
way
it.
the physics in the way that they are like, we've set everything up and we basically just made the physics work, and you can go solve things and do whatever you want. If you want to go find an electric sword and go to a puzzle that you need to run an electric current and just hit it with your electric sword and open the gate and go through, you can do that, but somebody else is going to do it a completely different way. And they did have enough variety, literally millions of variety options to do things, that everybody had their own completely different story of how they did everything. And I loved that about the game. I wish there was more games like that, and it seems like we're getting a lot more games like that. But that being said, I don't look back on the game and go, man, I wish every game in the world you could climb everything. I'm like, the climbing was fine. It got really annoying. It rained, and then you just fall. The frame rate was not good.
That was one of the
But it was
first
still
things
a
I
very good game.
experienced in Shadow of Mordor, was that it was raining and my guy was climbing the rock, and I was like, here we go. And I was like, oh wait, he climbed it. Sweet.
Wow.
Brilliant.
Thank you, 2015.
Climb in the rain.
It was fine. I think it's going to suffer from the curse of it's going to be 2019 and people are going to go, it was all right.
Yeah, it's not
the
as
best
good.
Zelda.
Yeah. Same with Mario Odyssey.
But
and all
right
that
now, everyone's on the Zelda high, so I'll just let it be.
No, yeah, I definitely don't think it's the best Zelda. It is one that I beat, and I like the whole, you can go fight Ganon literally first if you want. You can go figure out Zelda's story and like see the cutscenes. I like that there was voice acting. I think that all that's cool. Bad voice acting, but voice acting.
It was there.
I think that all that's cool.
Technical performance left a lot to be desired.
There was frame rate drops for sure. But yeah, I'm glad I played it.
Sure.
I'm glad I didn't.
Legend of Zelda. How about Super Bomberman R though?
I like it. I haven't played Bomberman in a long time.
Since
Last time I played
Xbox
Bomberman,
360 arcade.
Last time I played Bomberman, I was on my calculator in study hall in high school. So very.
Ooh, that was a good Bomberman.
A very
though.
top tier Bomberman. No, like it's everything you pretty much remember and love about Bomberman. It's just updated.
Blow up
So
stuff.
until you put the bots on and they just destroy you.
Blow up stuff, get power
Yeah, they're
ups,
kind
you
of
know.
good.
They're really good.
Well, yeah. What we played an 8-person mode.
Yeah.
We had
Us
4 real
three
people.
No, it wasn't
Craig.
really. It was more of a 5 bot or a
It
4
was-
bot mode.
Which of us would survive longest and let the 3 bots left win? You know?
Yeah, it was
Yeah, stick to humans.
Jesus.
But no,
Um,
fun game. Worth its price, sure.
Konami doing something good for gaming.
Yeah.
So that's a positive. Good job.
That's the first.
Konami.
You know,
Played through PT again this week. Makes me so sad.
I
that's
mean,
a pretty
it's
good
a fun.
demo.
It's a fun party game for the party game system, so it does what it's supposed to do.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
1-2 sweat now. Ghost Recon Wildlands.
I only kind of made a notation by that one because obviously with the Division, it got a bunch of flack for a very good reason. I think this game was a step above that one. I know it's probably still not getting talked about. I think it's got a pretty decent, dedicated
Best-selling
community.
game of the year.
Yeah.
It's crazy because I literally have not heard Ghost Recon been spoken.
Well,
I
it's
don't-
not,
I don't
it's
know
not even
anybody
that. It's
playing
really
it.
just Tom Clancy for some reason, even though they didn't even utter the words Tom Clancy at their E3 conference. There's just a strong following for that franchise, I guess.
for his name.
For his name, yeah. But yeah, game was fine. It obviously, once again, I'm going to say this about every game I talk about, probably, came out at a very competitive time. So there's no way I was playing
It's
it.
been a competitive year. I'm very interested for the end of the year.
Honestly,
Yeah.
if this game had hit June, July, I probably would play it. I had friends who were
I'd like
semi-eager to play it.
but I got other stuff to do.
And I played I guess it was the demo version, but I played an hour of it, and it was pretty fun. Like I said, it was what the Division didn't do, but it had sort of the Ghost Recon spin on it. So I don't know. Like I think it would have been fine, but it had some heavy hitters to compete against right before it, during it, and right after. So no way to win, but apparently it sold like crazy. So
Yeah.
So what do I know?
People buying
But no,
it.
I think it would be a quality game. It's just, for me, came out at the worst possible time.
We don't need to talk too much about this, but Nier. Really want to play it. That's what I want to play after Crash. Yeah, everything from the soundtrack. It's just so clearly Bayonetta
Yeah.
in like a different skin, a different universe.
Even though, like I said, I've got 10 hours into it, I'll play a lot more this week, too. I can definitely see why it's getting the buzz.
Are you playing as 2B?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I heard not to play as the other character. Do you know how to play as the other character?
I don't
It's awful.
I don't have the other character yet.
Oh, okay.
I've got 9S, but I don't have 2A, A2.
I don't know
whatever
what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's the character's name.
Anyway, I can't wait to play this. I think this will be a contender for me when I actually get to it. Unlike
You'll like
Horizon, where I'm scared I'm not going to like it. This one, I'm like, yeah, let's
You'll
go.
like it.
How about the only list on the internet that's going to have this one? Mass Effect Andromeda.
So sad. This game, it's good. I really, 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 really like this game. When Kellen and I played it, you still haven't finished, right?
I'm like 50 hours in. It didn't work with my new computer parts, so I quit playing it.
Really?
It's like, oh, I upgraded my computer, so
It was
Mass
too
Effect,
good.
PC gaming, everyone.
Mass Effect crashed 3 times in about 5 minutes. Like, all right, we're done with this.
If you play on that like sort of B+ tier PC, you'll coast and it'll.
Yeah, I was doing perfectly fine.
You won't run into any issues. It's the weirdest thing in the world because console versions suck. high-end PC sucks, low-tier PC sucks. But if you hit that kind of middle zone,
My computer was happy until I put better parts in.
you are you are in the clear.
Like I thought my cards were bad when I was
obviously
like, oh God, I can't do
the
nothing.
poster child for technical problems.
Yeah, I just remember people from The Witness when they were talking about their game because that was on PC, and they're like, "Hey, it doesn't work with this graphics card and this computer and this thing," and they're like, "Well, we got to go buy all that and test it and see what the problem is." I'm like, "That's got to be miserable."
Yeah, I mean that
Just
game
make it
As like
work.
a game
Mass
designer.
Effect probably is like the biggest talking point of the year, or one of, just because of like
Zelda.
expectations going into it. I mean,
Definitely Zelda.
not positive.
I still think people talk about
But
Zelda.
Probably.
yeah, I mean the game's fine. It's just layered with so many problems
Yeah, when it
for
works.
the average person that
I fell
you
through
know,
the map. My left stick
I never
stopped
fell through the
working.
map.
that you can't
Well,
get to the very, I think, very high number of good points about the game. And obviously there's been stories about, why this happened, got bungled with the studio, and now there's articles and rumors past that say, this game's dead, don't expect DLC.
Yeah, the
so,
DLC's all been canceled.
So, maybe they'll confirm that, maybe they'll deny it, who knows. But yeah, like it's such a good game, but it's just coded.
Was there a season pass for this game?
No.
Okay. Well, that's good.
I don't think they were going to try to do that because
Is that
obvious-
part of the Mass Effect 3 thing? Was there a season pass for that people didn't like?
I don't think they've ever done a Mass Effect season
no, they've
pass.
never done season pass. But no, they still kind of had to apologize, I think, for Mass Effect 3. So they played it very
Well, it worked.
loose as far as that stuff goes. But yeah, like
A little too loose. You fall through the map.
it's so good, but man, it's got so many problems for, like I said, for the average player who will be playing it. So sad.
I literally can't play anymore. So.
Following that, how about Persona 5? Is this
The
a
most
good-
polished game.
Is this a good video game, guys?
No, it's a great video game.
Well, that's true.
That's all I got.
Had exactly 0 technical issues with this game.
Correct.
I have zero problems of any kind.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, just the style that the game has, the menus, the fact that it brought once again JRPGs like back into the kind of the mainstream after they had Final Fantasy 15, and then this really helped. I think a lot of people that maybe got introduced with 15 got this.
Yeah, I've talked to a couple people. This was their first Persona game.
Yeah, like 4 Golden got so much buzz,
Yeah.
but nobody could play it because no one had a Vita, and
Mhm.
it was locked on the Vita, and
Well,
so
lots of-
finally they're like, here for the mainstream console
For
of
the
Persona.
PS4, yeah.
Lots
Yeah.
of people, too, have at least heard of or seen the arena fighting games, and they go, oh, this is pretty cool. This is sort of like Guilty Gear. Who are these characters, though? And so you combine that with, man, I've heard Persona 4 Golden on every top whatever list for PlayStation.
Yeah.
Let me know more. And then, boom, here you go.
Yeah, just a phenomenal story, characters, like everything is top notch. Like you said, everything's super polished, super stylized. Does things for the series. It improves on almost every single mechanic from the series.
And it's got callbacks to systems from the second game, and
Yeah.
like it's sort of cherry picked a lot of systems.
100 hours, and you'll feel like you spent maybe 12. You're like, oh, about 12. Oh, okay. It's 1 a.m. What happened? Like,
Where am I?
Yeah. Just fantastic game. What Remains of Edith Finch. This is I talk about all the time. Giant Sparrow, Unfinished Swan. It's their next game. It's a first-person, quote-unquote, walking simulator game. You're exploring a house with where a bunch of people died. Basically, the family is cursed, and every one of the kids has died. And you're going through their rooms that are all boarded up because every time someone dies, they board up the room and just build a new one. And you find a diary or a notebook or photographs or whatever it is, some memory of that character, and then you play that person's experience. And you finish that one, and you go kind of exploring, and you can go to the next room. There's missable ones, like you can just miss somebody's room and not get the full story, which I found out about. And every single one plays as a different video game style, and it was really cool, really unique, pretty darn awesome. Liked that game a lot.
Okay.
It took them long enough to make it. I remember this game like from 6 years ago. Not even joking. Because somebody leaked the name of the game. Somebody like went into their studio and totally leaked their stuff. So I've been waiting
Hey
for
guys,
this
what you
game.
got going on here?
What
Yeah.
you doing in this room?
It was some like off the records thing. The guy was talking to them, and he totally just went and put it on the internet. So there's that.
That's
But
messed
I've
up.
been
True
waiting for it.
professional.
Yeah, I've been waiting for it forever. So I'm glad it finally came.
I think you get
very
that
good.
house checked out if everyone's dying in it.
Well, it's the family. It's the
Addams family?
Finch curse is what it's called. Everybody in the family dies.
Everybody
in a
in-
very tragic way.
Oh, okay. 'Cause most people in families die. But,
No, very.
There's that one guy.
Different ways.
Yeah.
Very interesting. How about
Nah, he died,
Mario
never
Kart
mind.
8 Deluxe? What are you talking to me?
No.
I'm trying to run a show here. What's up?
Sorry that you're trying to run a show.
I kind of already said it in the what we're playing because this is very new. But I really like the fact that you can play it in mobile. That's my number one thing with anything that's going to be on Switch from probably here on out. How does it feel mobile?
Forever.
Zelda apparently was best to play it on Switch handheld. It's the
which is
720p streamless or seamless, no frame drop, whatever. Okay, cool. But I like the fact that they re-released this Mario Kart. Didn't do a new one because they added the battle mode in there, which is something probably we'll get around to at some point as well. But I like that
That is
everything's already built in there. I don't know where I would rank it as far as Mario Kart games
Worst one.
on the of all time.
Slightly above Mario Kart 8, not Deluxe.
But
Non-deluxe.
definitely my favorite tracks of all time. If you had all of them in there, where
all the remastered ones from the old
all the
games.
DS
well, no,
tracks
like
that
the
are
They
F-
still don't have my
F-Zero
favorite
and
track,
the Hyrule
unfortunately.
Castle and
Rainbow
whatever.
Road.
That's not my favorite. My favorite's Maple Treeway.
Why?
I like that track.
Oh, from the Wii.
Mm-hmm.
Eh,
It's my favorite
That's really random, but okay.
track. I don't know. It's just the one I'm the best at, so it's my favorite track.
Oh, okay, fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, really like the tracks and the DLC that came with it. So it's all on disc.
I'm jealous.
or
I want
cartridge.
the Splatoon characters.
Yeah.
I was playing it on Wii U literally yesterday. We've been playing it. And I'm like, man, it'd be really fun to play as the Splatoon characters.
Well, let's go do
Get-
it.
Well, he brought the Switch.
Get fucked, Wii U owners, I guess. I don't know. I don't know why I can't play it, but thanks.
You're not
Nintendo.
allowed to.
Prey. In May, as Kellen likes to point out.
May, pray. Well, they're right next to each other.
Like it, like the concept of it, like the idea of it, I like the original way more. But plagued with problems, which is a big keystone from like sort of fall of last year all the way till now. PC launch, just major issues. I think they've been mostly fixed by now.
Yeah, they fixed a lot of it. I mean, not even just
classic-
PC. Like, it had issues on
The
everything.
classic
everywhere.
story with this one was the IGN. What was it, a 3 out of 10?
Yeah, it was a 4
3 or
or
4, yeah.
something. Yeah, and then they patched it, and it
Yeah.
was like an 8. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, guys. I guess so. I don't know. Reviews are weird. We'll talk about that numerous times on this
Yeah.
show. But how do you review? Does price matter? Do patches matter? We'll talk about it. Farpoint. I wish I could play this game. I wish I could buy this game. I really want to. It is a VR first-person shooter that uses the aim gun, which is an impossible peripheral to find for your
Jeez,
PlayStation VR. Does really cool things, like when you actually hold up your sights, your character in game brings up their sights. Really want to play it. They do some things that some people think's weird. I need to experience it. It's a VR game, very hard to tell. But like characters attack your face, and I think they have a story reason for that. But
Just don't
so
like it?
they'll specifically go in front of you to compensate for the fact that you're in VR and can only shoot in front of you. So they're always trying to run at your face. And I'm like, oh, that's an interesting way to go about it. So just a different take. I've heard very good things from people who are very into VR from this. So maybe I'll play it by the end of the year. I've been
Just
looking.
go get it.
I've been
Go
looking.
buy one.
I've been looking for that bundle for literally every day since they went out
I
of stock.
thought you located one the other
He
day.
did.
I
It was
did.
like 20 miles away.
No, yeah, they didn't have it.
Oh.
It was a error in their system.
Nice.
Injustice 2.
Sounds like we need to go to eBay then.
They're so expensive. They're more than triple the price now.
Well, suck it up. Let's go.
Injustice 2. This is a good story game for a good story for a fighting game,
Yeah.
which is rare.
So
Though this
average.
year we've had a couple of those. Awesome character customization, awesome roster. DLC I could do without, but the mechanics and everything for this game are great. Its really only downfall to me is that it came out right next to Tekken. Like, that is the only bad thing I have to say about this
The
game. I
good
was like, that was
things
unfortunate.
for me, on top of what you
Correct.
said, is a complete game, which we
That's
did
true.
not get with Street
It is-
Fighter.
it is functional. It
There
runs.
has been multiple tournaments, like actual NetherRealm tournaments, and there have been multiple winners.
Scarecrow. Did you see that Scarecrow win? So I play as Scarecrow, and that's how I like to win. Scarecrow's passive ability is just if you're anywhere in range, your health just drains. And he just comboed the guy down until his health was this, and Scarecrow was still on his first health bar, and he just activated it and stood there, and the guy couldn't do anything. So he just got close to him and started comboing him and died because he can't stand near Scarecrow. So that was awesome.
I'm okay with it.
And those tournaments have had multiple winners as in people and multiple winners as in characters, so that's a good sign.
Yeah,
that
so
it's not
balanced.
Just like, oh, here's the broken guy who everyone's going to use.
6 of the top 8.
Yeah, there's very few like low tier characters that.
That's good for fighting games in general, but especially that game because that game's got a history with Evo and Superman being ridiculous.
Superman, the Batgirl
Superman
just rounded it out like at the end. Scorpion was huge. I'm like, how come
Batgirl even good?
Batgirl's the best character in that game?
Yeah, why?
Because her combos take off half your health. And it either starts with an overhead or an under, and you just have to guess. And if you guess wrong, you lose half your health. And she just charges at you, does one of them.
He doesn't mean that. He
But
says,
why Batgirl? I don't care. I don't care what she does. Why Batgirl?
All right, moving on. Fire Emblem Echoes.
Awesome game. Finished it recently. 60 hours, I believe I said. I liked it because it kind of breaks the typical. I guess it came before the mold.
I do want to say
two.
there's a lot of good remakes. Like Super Bomberman R is a remake. Crash obviously a remake. This is technically a remake. Yakuza is a remake. Like
Bar's getting
Mario Kart 8 still
raised.
sucks.
But I like the fact that in this game it's not one centralized story. It's broken in half, and you're
two
playing
literally branching stories.
Yeah.
Like there's actual branches.
playing two paths that occasionally run into each other, and then kind of meet up at the end for one cool story. And I like it because you get the same sort of game with, hey, here's your guy, here's your crew, all your companions, and their interrelationships and stuff like that. But you just get 2 of them for the price
just 2 of everything.
1.
Plus the dungeons are sweet. I really like the dungeons they added in between the RTS battles.
Yeah, cool additions like that. And the main characters, the 2 leaders, I guess, of the separate parties are among the best of Fire Emblem.
They're very good.
Which has a 20-plus year history by this point. So,
let's talk Friday the 13th really quick.
Sweet.
So an asymmetrical multiplayer game that I actually think works. The killer is supposed to be overpowered and feels overpowered, yet as a camper or a counselor, you're still able to escape, and it doesn't feel far-fetched to escape or like it's impossible.
Especially with teamwork.
At any point,
Yeah.
because
it's more
you
fun
can
by yourself.
you can literally just survive the night and you escape. So you can hide. That is a completely valid strategy that you can use, is hide and try to not get spooked, because when you get spooked, Jason can see you
Just
easier.
terrible things happen to you.
Yeah. The game, not a perfect game in the video game sense, but it's Super Blast, way more fun than it should be, and awesome how that game even got made from the summer camp, which was an ode to it. And then one day they were just like, hey, we got to delay the game. We got the rights to Friday the 13th. Yeah. So this is becoming a Friday the 13th game.
A lot of fun.
And they're supporting it post-launch, obviously. We're going to have a single player by the end of the year. They're working on a story mode and everything. So this is one that definitely going to look at the end of the year and see what it looks like then.
How it's changed.
Yeah, because I'm sure it'll all be for the better.
The game's a lot of fun.
Rhyme, which is a game that I absolutely love. Gone through that one twice now. Very similar to Ico, exploring an island, very mysterious. You don't really know what you're doing or what the consequences of it. You're just kind of doing it because video games tell you that's what you're supposed to do. You're like, this thing glows. I'm supposed to interact with it in some way. And then it unfolds into a very awesome adventure with this boy. Has a really, really solid ending and is very, very pretty. The art direction in the game is fantastic. Clearly steals a bit from Journey. But that's okay.
The band?
Yeah, it's got a lot of Journey music in it. I was like, man, how about Tekken 7? Is this
the
a good
best fighting game?
Probably.
The best fighting game out. It is definitely as complete as Injustice. I won't say which one's more complete. That's a weird thing to argue, but definitely another fighting game that is worth the full MSRP.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a point I'm going to keep hitting on until all the fighting games do it. But I like the fact that it came out for both PC and PS4.
And
PC
worked.
version
and functional.
Is somehow
Xbox.
better, which makes
cheaper.
sense to someone with a brain, but someone who's been playing video games is like, what? PC version's better. But no, game's really awesome. Lots of characters. literally, it's one of those.
There's only 2 characters. What are you talking about?
There's a bear and a bear.
There's a bear and a panda.
No. One of those games where you really shouldn't focus on who's the best. Like, go look up a tier list or go look at a stream and see who won whatever tournament. It's like you can play anyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
literally
and
any
it's
character
so.
can win.
One thing that I really like about it is every match you'll learn something new.
Yeah.
Like literally every match you'll learn a new mechanic, a new gameplay thing. Like it's endless as far
because
as that goes.
people have so many moves too. Just a slight twitch or a double tap of something is a completely different move, which can lead to a whole new chain of things.
Yeah.
And you going, oh, I'm awesome, or I'm the worst.
Yeah, I have put so many hours into that game,
Mhm.
and I couldn't explain half of
Yeah.
the stuff that goes on.
I don't know how I did that, but it
in
was
that
cool.
game. Yeah,
It's enough,
and it's got a cool story mode.
It's enough new
pointing
player
And a
friendly,
fish.
but it's enough. Hey, I've been playing Tekken since its conception, basically.
Yeah,
Like,
and also
it's a
another
nice
game
middle
that's very
ground.
well balanced. It
Yeah.
seems like
Yep.
there's no character that's just dominating
Yeah.
everything.
So-
Very interested in the DLC characters. Can't wait to hear them.
Lots of good feedback from that. That will probably, the thing about because Evo's rolling up, which is obviously the biggest fighting game tournament of the year. It'll still probably be Street Fighter is the king of that, but that's because there's just been people that have been playing as long as most of us has been alive. But
I've never watched Street Fighter.
Tekken,
I did once and it was boring.
Tekken, I think, is becoming, at least amongst the people who do this professionally, Tekken's probably known as the best one at the moment, best fighting game. So
Oh yeah, right now people
And
are very happy. With
I don't
it.
think Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite is going to take that crown away with the social media feedback.
Not from what we've heard about it.
I've never heard anyone say anything bad about Tekken 7.
That's fair. It's very good. What about ARMS?
We're going to play
Mine are
it
pretty
here in
good.
a little bit, but at
Yeah.
the moment, I can definitely say that it's gotten a lot better feedback than I initially thought it would.
Yeah, this is a great year for fighting games,
Mhm.
and this is technically a fighting game.
Technically.
When it got announced,
For Honor is too, I guess. I don't know.
when it got announced,
Hit or miss.
we all kind of thought it was like,
That's how you
hey,
play.
here's the gimmick game, or here's
Yeah,
like, 'cause
really
they really
bad.
didn't show off a lot, but then they started showing like, hey, here's like 10 or 12 characters or something like here.
Yeah, they're like, oh, it's like a hero shooter thing, but
Yeah.
from
Hero
Nintendo,
fighter.
who knows how to make really good
Yeah.
characters, to be fair. And yeah, I was like, well, man, I wish that there was a multiplayer mode. And they're like, oh, 2v2. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, that's cool. And they're like, also, there's volleyball. I'm like, this game is sweet.
Yeah.
It reminded me a bit of Splatoon.
So-
I
Volleyball.
shit talked Splatoon,
Yeah.
and then I played it, and I was like, man, Splatoon's great. It's one of my game of the years for
Well,
that year.
I feel
and
like
I hope this
I don't
is the same.
know.
haven't
I don't
played it
know
yet.
if ARMS was more us, the viewers, or them, because the way they marketed it at the beginning.
Mhm.
Now there's full.
They
force.
clearly were like slow rolling
Yeah.
it. Like
They
they
wanted
had
to-
a
they
lot
wanted
of
to see
stuff
the
to show,
reception.
and they were just like, "Here's
And I
little
think
things
it would
all
have
the
been
time.
that much better if it came out at launch. But seeing
Yeah.
how dead this time of year is, game release wise, maybe that was a smart move on some guy back in the
They
day.
seem to want to have a game a month. Like they have this and Mario and Rabbids and Pokken and Mario Odyssey, and
Yeah.
you know that it seems like they're.
Yeah, can't wait
doing
to
that.
try it. Should be interesting.
I have Get Even on here. This is just a quick one because I haven't played it yet because I'm still looking at getting a physical copy. It's made by Bandai Namco, so I think they're gonna do it. So I'm just waiting to make sure. But very Bioshock-like, got good reviews. It's first person, exploring other people's memories. There's definitely twists and turns in the story. They specifically say like, don't get spoiled in the thing when you click the trailer for the video. So I'm very excited to check that out whenever I get to it. I hope it's not like Inside, where I'm super excited to do it the whole year, and then I finally get to it, and I'm like, crap, I don't like it. It's exactly what happened with Life is Strange, too.
Yep.
I was like, so maybe I shouldn't get too
About
excited
once a
for
year,
it.
you're just disappointed.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, hopefully this one isn't
yeah,
that,
that's
but
once
we'll
a
see.
week for us.
And then
Most
finally,
of the time for me.
just Crash the Insane Trilogy. Like I said, best remaster I've seen. I love that it feels like what I think that game, or looks and feels like what I think of when I think of that game.
Well, yeah, that's the thing that I was
Oh
kind
my
of thinking
gosh.
about it after I
So
said
much
it.
fun.
Like,
I wouldn't know.
Remastered
I'm
music's
looking
great.
at this with the, I don't know what year it was released, but like I'm looking at it with like the 8-year-old eyes, like, oh man, this looks so good.
It's a
Because you know
baby.
you would have said that back in the day too when it first came out. So I feel like I'm just getting like transported back in time basically because it's newer graphics and updated system.
When you load up that game, I literally almost teared up because one, I didn't realize I wanted this so badly, and two, you open it up and all the old games open with Cortex, and he's like Universal Studios presents creative and developed by Naughty Dog, and it does that. And they redid all of that, and it's the original Activision logo from like the Tony Hawk days, and he's like, "We are proud to present a newly remastered." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so excited! I'm so glad they got Cortex back to tell me this."
They pulled out all the stops for this one.
It's great. I can't believe praising Activision here, but they did a fantastic job getting. Vicarious Visions to do this remaster, and I really hope they give them Spyro because that is the next logical thing to do.
Yes, please.
Or I could see them making just straight up Crash Bandicoot 4, like calling it Crash 4 and making it in the vein of this. But I think before you do that, you remaster Spyro, the same exact team, same exact way, same exact collection thing, $40, and you do similar how you got to play as Coco, you do a little ode in that thing.
Yeah.
I know it's not related at all.
Also, I do want to say the play as Coco thing. Did you know that wasn't in their plans? Like, they just did that as a bonus in their free time, and they were like not even sure if they were going to be able to finish it all before the game came out. That was something that they did like in off time.
Give that man a raise.
Yeah.
Whoever raised his hand and said, "What
Yeah.
about playing as Coco?"
Nobody's ever.
I hope
awesome.
that man has his own island right now. I know it's not related at all.
Wampa Island.
Hey, it's worth it. I know it's not related at all, but that gets my hopes up a little bit more for Shadow of the Colossus.
Oh, the remaster.
I'm
thing?
hoping this trend of
high quality
remasters.
remasters.
Makes its way into that.
Yeah,
game,
I'm excited
which
for Shadow, and I'm
deserves
totally
it.
getting that
Yeah.
and supporting it because that would put. I have this theory that everything's going to be backwards compatible with PS4. Like the PS5 will play all PS4 games, and the PS6 will play. Like PS4 is the beginning of everything we'll play on their consoles,
Sure.
and I think that's why they're bringing so many of their classics to it. And I have hope that we get Shadow, and then we have Last Guardian on it already, and then we get Ico remastered, and we have that whole trilogy,
That
like
25-year trilogy.
built for that game. Well, that, and we'll have all the Kingdom Hearts on one thing. That I think
who
that
cares about
this
that
is
last one?
this is
No,
the
no, no,
beginning of
The end.
them knowing the importance of backwards compatibility with everything, and they're like, let's get everything up to
Let's
snuff.
bring everything up to date. And
But we'll see. All right, that's it. That's our list of 2017 games so far. Lots of ones that we're excited for coming up. We talked about them last week on our episode where we were like, what are we playing for the rest of the year? And it'll
old
be those.
Wolfenstein games.
Games have a
No,
lot
that's
to
true.
live up to, though.
Yeah,
I
we'll
will
see.
say that.
We shall see. Thank you for being here, Kellen.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here, Nick.
You're sounding increasingly funny.
Yeah, the more I talk, the worse it gets. When I'm playing Friday the 13th, I start out fine, and by the end of it, I'm like, Jason's here! My voice is just cracking.
It's like,
I'm
is he actually scared?
I'm going
What's
through
wrong with him?
puberty. This is terrible. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll speak with you next time.
About time.
Dang.